Oh, how to build a pub.
Good afternoon, good evening and good night, and welcome to the Build a Pub podcast with me, Alex Ravenhall, the only person to think spaghetti bolognese and spag bol were two separate dishes. The Build a Pub podcast is a spin-off of my original series, Social Isolation. I invite guests onto the podcast to, as the name suggests, build their own pubs, from what they have on draft, to what food they serve, to what music they have playing, and hopefully get them to share with me some anecdotes and thoughts on the institution that is the public house. I'm going to be releasing these podcasts bi-weekly every Wednesday and Sunday for the foreseeable future. If you can't wait that long, you can also find all 11 episodes of Social Isolation on this very channel, as well as all the previous episodes of this podcast. Huge special thanks to Sam Nason for the graphics and Jack Prethern for the jingle. Today I'm joined by Phoebe Cooke, who's going to build a pub so artsy it'll close down Banksy's boozer he opened up around the corner. My granny always said the same thing. If you ever have a meal off a metal plate, Alex, make sure it's not made of lead. And only dickheads glorify alcohol. The second part only really sunk in while I was in hospital recovering from lead poisoning. So, follow that woman's life lessons and drink responsibly. That's enough waffle. Please enjoy this, the next episode in the Build a Pub podcast.
Oh, how to build a pub.
And here we are. I'm going to start, as I always do, by introducing my brilliant guest. My guest today is someone I met basically exactly a year ago. The events of that night involved her flatmate getting extremely angry at me before doing what can only be described as the longest and most passive-aggressive piss I've ever heard in my life. It was absolutely terrifying. She's a great support, especially with my health. The vegetarian moussaka she made me and my friends in March was the first vegetables I'd had all term. But today, we're not here to talk about healthy stuff. No, today, to talk with me all about pubs, is Phoebe Cooke. Hello, Phoebe, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Is that fair? Was it quite a passive-aggressive piss, would you say?
I genuinely, that piss still haunts my dreams.
It was one of the worst and greatest nights of my life, because it was a very nice night, but obviously I don't like anyone weeing in the other room while being really angry at me. That's not nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that as like prime, this is what I want to do with my evening, but it was good. Good stuff.
And at least we ended up there. Phoebe Cooke, hello. I hope you're well during this trying time in our lives. What I want to know is, right now you can't really go to the pub. And I love the pub, but I want to know what the pub means to you. This isn't about me anymore, it's about you. So what does the pub mean to you?
Well, I'm quite a stingy person, so I don't go to the pub very often. I'm more of a buy a bottle of whiskey and drink it in my bedroom kind of person.
Fantastic.
But, so for me, it's much more of like a social hub, you know, when I want to see people and we need somewhere to go, to the pub.
Where is your go-to pub, or do you not have one? If you have to go to the pub, which pub would you want to go to?
So I go to my number one, of course, they're all Selly based.
Yep.
Number one is the pear if I'm going with one other person, but if I'm going with a group of people, it's the goose.
I'll tell you what, that is a fantastic answer, because I'm 100% in agreement with you. I think the pear is really good for like a little low-key evening, a catch-up. If you haven't seen someone over summer, you go to the pear for a little catch-up, and then the goose, for your big evenings. Apart from, it's so pissing busy in there that you can never get a seat.
Yeah. But I feel like if you just aggressively look at people for long enough, they will move.
Well, when you do it, then when I do it, I just look like I'm like constipated or something. It doesn't really go to my benefit. Fantastic stuff. You mentioned you don't like paying a lot for drinks. Neither do I. But I am quite interested to knowing what is the most expensive drink you've ever had to pay for. Now, you can go two directions with this one. You can either go for generally just outright money, it's like some shitty cocktail, or you can go for something that was ridiculously overpriced. My go-to for this one is Alistair Winning once spent £5.50 on a VK, which is just
No. Where was that?
Rosie's.
That's so bad.
It's one of the worst things I've ever heard. It makes me feel physically sick. So, what's your answer for this one?
So mine's more of like a scenario almost. I went on a pub crawl in Brighton, in the lanes, if you know Brighton, which is notoriously the most expensive place in the world. So I wasn't paying for most of the drinks, I must confess, but I got to a point where I didn't really care how much they cost, and it came to a total of about £200 for my drinks for that night.
Fuck off. 200 quid in one evening. Oh no. What were you drinking?
everything. I would just go in and point to a pint, and I'd be like, that one. I don't know the difference between different like pints that people pull.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this one looks good. I like the colours, and that's what I pick.
That's fantastic. Hang on. I think that's my fire alarm. 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, we love this type of thing. 1 second, everyone. Yeah, sorry about that. My sister set off the fire alarm. It's this show's live studio audience shit doesn't always go well, even though I'm pre-recording it. But I keep everything in. That's my rule. So sorry, Phoebe. But actually, that was a good segue because I'm not gonna lie, I don't give a shit about that. You're here to pitch your pissing pub. That's all I care about. And the first thing you need is an investor because pubs are an expensive business. So I want to know from you, Phoebe, is who you pitching to and why?
So I have picked absolute G of the century, my dad, good old Patrick, because I've never met someone as judgmental about pubs. Who is like, I want the atmosphere to be right. If we walk into somewhere and like it seems a bit too, they haven't put enough passion into building it, he's like, no, this is not the venue for my drinks.
So was his name Patrick?
Patrick, yeah.
Patrick,
Pat, not Rick, but whatever you fancy.
Yeah, so Pat or Patrick, no Rick though. I'll make sure to watch that out. That's a fantastic answer because you want someone judgmental because at the end of the day you're gonna get a high quality of pub, I think. So that is an absolutely stellar answer. So Patrick gets out of his, what car does he drive?
He doesn't drive.
He gets out of his train and he and he goes out the train station, and just outside the train station is a lovely little pub. And the first thing he sees when he goes to this pub is the name emblazoned on the front of it. You can also have a little symbol or emblem if you want. You can go crazy. So what are you going to call your pub, Phoebe?
So I'm going for quite a niche market of something that would appeal to me. So the name is the Colour Ink Inn.
The Colour Ink?
Sounds like colouring in.
Yeah.
And it's an arts and craft themed pub.
Oh, fantastic. That's a sick idea. So what are you thinking? Inside the walls are covered with kind of... Is it like decent arts and crafts or is it like shitty kids' drawings?
I feel like it just depends on how many drinks you've had. Arts and crafts is for everyone. So I think there could be some great stuff and some terrible stuff. Yeah,
a good mix. So would it be like a family pub? So like the kind of like parents go in and the kids just kind of fuck off and draw some things? Or would it be like you go there like to get pissed and draw?
I feel like that would be more of the market I'd aim for. I imagine it would attract two crowds. Firstly, artists, people who are serious and who want their art on the walls, and then people who just want a boozy night out with some colouring pencils, Yeah.
It would be very great if you just played like a really drunk game of Pictionary, but then you could put all your pictures on the wall. That's fantastic.
There's so many possibilities.
Yeah. What would kind of like your locals call it? So like they have like shorthand names. So like I've got the Black Bull, we call it the Bull. What would regulars call it, do you reckon? How would you want it shortened?
Oh, I don't know. Ooh.
The Ink?
No, I feel like the title is good enough that they just got to say the full name.
Yeah, they're not even if they call it shorthand, they get kicked straight out.
Yeah, then they're not playing into the pun, and we don't want them in my pub.
That's so true, actually, because if you do shorten it, like then it just sounds really weird. Like you need the full thing for the pun to work. Fantastic choice. So, Pat, I've changed to Pat now. I'm gonna run with Pat for a bit, see how it feels. Pat walks in. And the first thing Pat needs is a drink. Obviously, he's in a pub. And he walks up, and you're behind the bar, and you're wiping some surfaces. Keeping busy. He's coming, though, so, you're a bit nervous. You're getting ready for the old pitch. And he walks straight up, and he goes, I would like a drink off draft. Now, you have off draft 2 beers and 2 ciders. What have you got at the Colouring King Cook?
I feel like we might have found a fault with the name.
No, I think that's just more my fault because I'm just an idiot. So what drinks do you have on offer on draft?
So I thought a lot about this, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to carry on making my pub somewhere I would like to go.
Yes.
So I thought I'm just going to get the cheapest things possible and just put some food colour in them so they go off fun colour. And then boom, it's perfect.
That is fantastic. So is it generally just like unbranded beer?
Yeah. Whatever's cheapest, because then they aren't paying a lot, and then they drink more, and then they don't care what the beer tastes like.
That is a superb answer. However, I am going to want from you 2 made-up names for your 2 beers.
That's okay. I think go simple, kind of like Friends episode titles, where it's just like the yellow one, the blue one.
That is absolute. Also, a blue pint is a sick idea. That's so like that's such like a festive vibe. Like, oh my god, it's blue. People come in just to drink blue beer. That's pretty cool. It's like on St. Paddy's Day when they dye it green. I think that's an absolutely superb choice. And yellow, admittedly, basically just beer, really.
That might have been a poor choice. I feel like it would go somewhere between looking like beer and looking like piss, but...
To be fair, most beer looks like piss, so you're just kind of covering your corners there. And your ciders, are you going for a similar thing there? Cheap and food colouring?
Similar thing. I feel like I would pop in like a fruit name for like what flavour the cider is. So maybe like the purple blackberry one.
Oh.
So just so there's some difference. Or like the red strawberry one, because of course I want flavoured cider because, you know.
Come on. You need the flavoured ciders, yeah. That is an absolutely... I like it. You've took the question and gone, fuck you, society. I'm not endorsing any of your drinks. I'm not getting you some Carling or anything. No, these are my drinks. These are cheap booze. And I'm not going to lie. Tell you what, how much would you charge? That's the big question.
I'm feeling maybe like £2 a pint.
Yes. Oh, that is a good old
£2 down the inn.
What's the cheapest...
The abbreviation, the inn.
Yeah. There we go, just the inn. What is the cheapest pint you've ever had? Do you remember? Do you ever go somewhere and you got a drink and you're like, holy shit, this is cheap?
I feel like I pick the pubs I go to based on the cheapness of the drinks.
Smart.
But I'm not much of a beer drinker, except for, obviously, my trip to Brighton, where I just pointed and ordered. Yeah. I'm more of a wine person, because I feel like you know how much your wine is going to be.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's interesting you mention wine, because we didn't prepare this at all. This is amazing. Because the next thing Patrick wants to know is... what wines you got on offer? Because actually, he was lying before. He just wanted to see what options you've got. You know, at the end of the day, this is a pitch. He's got to, test your see if you know your stuff. Now, you go and get your wines. Unfortunately, it's been a very busy day, and you are left with only your house red and your house white. But it's fine, because they're your most popular ones. They're the ones that kind of represent your pub as a whole. So what have you gone for?
I think a cheeky Chardonnay for my white.
Oh, fantastic.
Because nobody can really tell the difference anyway. So... Chardonnay, because it's easier to say. And then for my red wine, I actually have no idea what I'd pick. I would just pick the cheapest red wine.
Cheapest red wine? I'm trying to think. Is that like Shiraz or something? Or is that, I have no idea.
A Merlot. I worked in a bar. A Merlot. I'd have a Merlot.
A Merlot. Oh, very nice indeed. I've heard a Merlot's a pretty good tasting one. So that's always positive. Oh, fantastic. Which one do you think is... What does Patrick drink usually?
Patrick either drinks whatever's on draft and he will judge you intensely for it, or he will just go for just straight vodka.
Do you know what's brilliant? You're literally doing the segues for me. This is brilliant. So, instead of the wines, he's going to go straight for not just the vodka, he's going to actually sample some of your spirits. He wants to know what spirits you've got. Now, as every bard has, you have 3 spirits. Yeah. With this one, Phoebe... you can go a couple of directions. You can go for 3 different types of alcohol, or 3 specific types of alcohol, so like, Absolute vodka, Gordon's gin, something. Or you could, to be fair, be like a gin bar and have 3 different gins. It's completely up to you. So, whatever you've gone for, but remember that Patrick likes his vodka, so maybe keep that in mind.
That's true. So, my 3 spirits, of course, pink gin. Got to have that out there for middle-aged mums if you want to do that art and crafts.
And me. I love it. It's so sweet. And a little bit lemonade as well. You can't go wrong.
And then, of course, apple sours for that vibrant green flavour for the young people who want to come and draw. And then, finally, I'm thinking maybe violet vodka, just because it tastes so good.
Violet
and I know that
vodka?
my dad likes it.
Is that like, what are those sweets called? Parma Violets?
Parma Violets, yes.
No way, that sounds insane.
So good. I do not like drinking straight vodka, but violet vodka, straight down the hatch.
Where'd you get it? Well, I've never heard of it before.
I don't know, I never usually buy it. My dad usually has it in his house.
So you just come along, swig and run. I love it.
Yeah.
And obviously, Patrick's going to go for
Violet vodka.
The
Yeah.
violet. It also sounds like saying violent vodka, which is also brilliant. That would be an amazing name for a vodka. That's kind of like vodka you have after going to watch football or something. Like a hooligan's vodka. A vodka for your average day hooligan. Fantastic stuff. But there's something you don't know about Patrick, which is quite impressive considering like he's your dad and I've never met him before in my life. But he actually secretly, he is very judgy around pubs. But when he's alone, he has a little hobby where he goes into a pub and he goes up to the barman and he goes, "Can I have your signature fancy cocktail, please?" He loves a cheeky cocktail. He just does. It's his guilty pleasure, and so he's gonna do it. He doesn't care anymore. He's had a couple of violet vodkas, so he's feeling a bit more like freeing. And he goes,
He's adventurous.
Exactly. He goes, "Phoebe, get me your signature cocktail." So what I need is a fancy little name and all the ingredients you're going to have in it.
So I want to keep on the same stream of weird arts and crafts names that are kind of weird and hard to pronounce. The Chiaro.
Chiaro, how are you spelling that?
So it's Chiaro.
Yeah? Fantastic. What does it mean?
It's abbreviation for chiaroscuro, which is like light and shadow in artwork.
Oh, sick.
And because it's light and shadow, I was like, oh wow, we're going to go for like a black and white cocktail. So it would have blackberries, spiced rum, and lemon syrup, and you would separate it so like the lemon syrup would sit clear on top, and then you would have the blackberries, which would dye the rum underneath.
Phoebe Cooke, that is a magnificent little bit of artistry in your drinks. Oh, I love that. So it's like a nice little divide. Have you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine if you haven't, but I would have loved it if you genuinely gone online and searched the densities of each liquid to try and work out if the separation
I ended up
worked.
researching like how you separate them and if it was possible, and it is.
Yes, that is sick. Also, sick name, the Chiaro. That is a fantastic little number.
And then the drunker you get, the harder it is to pronounce, and that's just fun for me.
At the bar, can I have the chirioso? No, you can't. You got to say it right. You got to say it properly. That's a sublime answer. Would you would it have like a little umbrella or anything, or is it quite subtle? Is it just
I was thinking like let the monochrome speak for itself. Maybe some sugar around the rim, but I feel like that would over sweeten it.
I agree. I think it's one of those where like the picture on the wall would be like kind of like a film noir. It'd be like black and white, and then like, it'd just be in the middle. But as I say, just by itself, very distinct, and it would have the cool like little italicized writing at the top. That's how I'm envisioning it. It sounds fantastic. The Chiaro. Is that Italian? Or is it just a random art word?
Yes, it is Italian, maybe.
Oh, fantastic. I think, Patrick, as we said, he's had a couple of the violet vodkas. I can't speak today. Maybe I've had a couple of them. I just don't realise it. But he's also going to go for the Chiaro because that's a fantastic choice.
Thank you very much.
He's evaluated your bar, and he's given you a bit of feedback. He's gone, very good choices. Congratulations. And he walks when you're like, oh, okay, first test done. Half an hour passes. You serve some more people. He's enjoying his evening. He's sitting. He's looking around the room, but you notice he's got kind of like a puzzled look on his face, and it's worrying you a little bit. So you go over and you just go, is everything all right? You look a bit confused, or maybe that's not the right word. And he goes, yes, please sit, daughter. And he goes,
I love when he addresses me as daughter.
hey, he takes this very seriously, okay? There's no nepotism involved. And you sit across from him and he goes, you've got some good drinks and it seems like there's a kind of nice air to the place, but I just can't pinpoint what type of atmosphere and vibe you want from the place, what you're trying to, what you want your customers to feel while they're in your pub.
Yeah.
And the only way I can work that out, Phoebe Cooke, is to know what your best pub experience is, because then I know that you're always trying to achieve that every time someone walks into this pub. So, to put my mind at ease, Phoebe, what is your best pub experience?
So I actually had to message a friend to ask about this. Jack, who wrote the jingle.
Yes, shout out to Jack.
And he replied saying that he couldn't think of... He said, stuff happens to you everywhere, just not in pubs. And I was like, thanks, Jack. But I would say it's probably another Brighton experience.
Fantastic.
I went on a pub crawl for my sister's 20th birthday. And
Was it the same pub crawl?
No, it was a different pub crawl, but Brighton has some of the coolest pubs. And all I remember is we went into like a taco pub. Then my sister vomited in the bathroom. And then we went to this really cool gaming pub. And I can't really remember much after that, except for the fact I tried to sneak chicken wings into one of the later pubs. But there was nobody else there, so everyone could really obviously tell what I was doing.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a really nice night.
They're the best type of nights, I think, especially when you go from several locations. I think a good night is where, like it's similar to that. On like a night out, you want a good prees, a good club, a good pub sometimes. You know, if you want a bit of a transition in between, and then afters are a very, very important part. I think. And yeah, on the pub side of things, yeah, a gaming pub sounds sick. If only you could remember
VR
it.
headsets everywhere that people could play on.
Shit.
And it was really cool. I mean, I wish that I was sober enough to have played the game, but it did look really cool.
I'll tell you what though, imagine like having like it being on a racing game or like in space in VR, being horrifically drunk. That is a genuinely a recipe for horrific disaster, in my opinion. That is really horrible. What was the other pub you said?
Taco pub. Yeah.
That's sick as well. What is with Brighton? We have literally 3 pubs and they're all the exact same pub, just with different names.
Yeah,
in Yarm.
Do you want the slightly more expensive one in Selly Oak?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Selly are basically all just named around Selly. The Soak, as an example, which is the shittest of the 3, to be fair. Fantastic stuff. Patrick, he writes a little note on his pad and paper. He's very happy with that choice. And off you go. Another half an hour passes or so. Once again, it's quite a slow night because you knew he was coming, so you weren't any big nights on because you were looking at lots of different drawings. You haven't to bin some of them because they're genuinely shit. And he gets a bit on, and I'm not gonna lie, he's on his 3rd or 4th Chiaro now, and Patrick's a little bit pissed. And he realises that he needs to sober up because this is a pitch, goddammit. Like he's supposed to be being quite professional, and so he pulls out of the booth the food menu. On that food menu is 3 set meals. Now, a little something that Patrick hasn't told you, Phoebe. Back in the 90s, when kind of pop music was all kicking off, he got really into this band called Time Warp Conundrum, and they were a great band. Well, they weren't, if we're honest. Patrick, they were genuinely shit, and they actually disbanded. But because he was their major fan, they thought, well, you've given us a lot over the years, we'll give you something back. And Time Warp Conundrum, or whatever I just said, gave him a time machine, which was very nice of them.
Wow.
So Patrick's been holding on to that, and he's decided that for your 3 set meals, you are allowed to use this time machine to get any meals from your life. So maybe, you don't have to use it, but maybe you had... I was about to say cod and chips, but I know you're vegetarian / vegan. So maybe you had a nice vegetable moussaka from your past.
I really like that you said vegetarian / vegan, just cover all bases.
Yeah, I genuinely wasn't, just in case. But yeah, maybe it's a vegetarian moussaka you had when you were a lot younger. So you can get any specific meal you want, or you can just pick some random shite. So Phoebe, what have you gone for?
So I've picked 3 things that I think anyone who's had a drink will want one of these 3 things. So first of all, inspired by my mum, God bless her, Paula. My dad probably won't be too happy with me picking one of her meals. But every Christmas, she brings out, just after dinner, because she doesn't want us to ever stop eating, the most glorious cheese board any man will have ever seen.
Oh, magnificent.
So meal number 1, of course, cheese board. Who doesn't want a cheese board? Ever,
Yeah.
Whether you've had a drink or not, you'll want it. And then I was thinking, okay, some people don't want a cheese board. What is this kind of similar enough that for the people who don't want the cheese board, what they can have? So I was like, okay, nachos. Who doesn't want nachos?
Exactly.
They can be vegan if you're a vegan, or they can not. And then finally, I was like, okay, got to get back into the theme of the pub, arts and crafts, ice lollies.
Ice lollies. So would they make their own ice lollies? Like, the little templates? Or would they just get given them?
I feel like they'll just get given them because there is the freezing process involved in making your own ice lolly.
That is an exceptionally good point. What the hell was I thinking? I was proper into the article. I was thinking probably Blue Peter type shit, where they get the kids on and they make their own ice lollies and take them away. What type of ice lollies?
They think they're making them, and I just have pre-made ones that I bring out, and I'm like, look at the ones you made.
Yeah. These are the ones you made earlier. Congratulations, guys. What flavour are we going for the ice lollies?
Every flavour.
Every flavour.
Different colours, different flavours. Then there's something for everyone.
Yes. Exactly.
I really want to cater to all tastes in my pub.
Yep. I'm not going to lie, this is a very serious pub podcast, so I do have to ask you, what is your favourite type of cheese?
It depends what mood I'm in.
Okay.
I have to confess, I'm a big cheese fan. I'm a soft cheese kind of gal. I do like a good bit of camembert, but I also like my Black Sticks Blue or my Stilton. I'm a big fan of all types of cheese. All types of cheese.
Tell you what, gun to your head, one cheese. Yeah. What is it?
I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go for smoked cheese.
Smoked. Oh, a left field option there. I like it.
It's just come to me with the gun to my head, and I was like, that's the one.
I'll tell you what. I love how I've never done the gun to the head thing before on the pub podcast, but when I do, I use it for cheese. I think that really shows where my priorities are with this with the podcast. Lovely stuff. So what do you think Patrick would go for? Not the cheese pod.
I think he'd go for nachos. He's a nacho kind of man. Yeah.
Also, a bit of carbs, that'll properly sober him up. So he has a couple of plates of nachos and he's feeling a bit more cooled down. And as he's polishing off, he's like licking his fingers with all the nacho goodness. And as he does, he starts listening. And he realises that a really good song is playing. And he shouts you over and he goes, Phoebe, what is this song? Now, what he doesn't realise, Phoebe, is that the pub's very new, as you know. You're looking for investors still. And you bought a very new jukebox. And on that jukebox, you put on one album. Now, the plan was to put on, several albums, get a bit of variation. But you realised when you put on this album, it was actually the perfect album for your pub. So what I want to know is two things, please. Firstly, what is the album? And secondly, what song does your dad really like from it?
So I was thinking, ambience-wise, what kind of thing does my dad, or anyone, really want to hear when you're in a pub? So I was like, okay, obviously, the only choice, Irish folk music.
Yes, continue.
Ravenhall. But I was like, okay, we're going to go for something a bit more contemporary, like contemporary Irish music. So, of course, it would have to be the High Kings, absolute icons.
Phoebe Cooke. I mean, we don't like nepotism or bias on this show, but they are my favourite band of all time. I have also written a musical about them because that's what I do with my time, Phoebe Cooke.
That hadn't clicked in my head that they were your favourite because you told me they were your favourite before I started listening to Irish folk music.
They're sick, aren't they?
It only just clicked that, wow.
They're honestly, and I must say, it's a very, very good choice in your answer. I mean, admittedly, for the benefit of this podcast, I am, Patrick, but fuck it, it's a good choice. This is Chief Exec Alex coming in and going, hey, that's a good little choice. And then I'm like, I give Patrick the nod to, maybe think about investing. A fantastic choice. What song?
Oh, well, I was thinking, okay, Patrick does not know a lot about, I'm assuming he doesn't know a lot about Irish folk, specifically the High Kings. So I was like, okay, one of the most popular Irish pub songs, straight in there.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say what the name of the Irish pub song was, but the name of the song is the Irish pub song. I get you. It's a fantastic song. What's your favourite of the High Kings, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I feel like, because I'm still pretty new to listening to their stuff, I am at that point where I just loop it. So I just listen to all of it.
Because you also, they're actually really good to have on in the background. Because they're just very, very, very nice. They've got a nice little mix. Some upbeat ones, some quite slow ones. And yes, this is the pub podcast, so I'm back. Fantastic. Patrick, he's having a good time, but he fancies doing something. He fancies getting up. So he gets up and he says exactly these words. Phoebe, what game / and or activity do you have on offer? And you reply,
Well, we're in an arts and crafts pub, so please come this way to the arts and crafts table.
I wish I could say that I was doing that as part of the podcast. I genuinely am an absolute buffoon. I mean, I was generally, I'm not going to lie, I was intrigued what your answer was going to be in your arts and craft pub. That's Alex Ravenhall. Come on, get yourself together, man. Yes, I agree.
I think that would be a sensible choice.
That is the whole fucking point. So yeah, I'd hope that's what they do. Fantastic. Now he does a bit of arts and craft for a bit. He draws some little squirrels. He's a big fan of squirrels. Is our Patrick. But then he gets a phone call from me, the big exec, and he goes outside and he's like, "You're right, Alex?" I'm like, "Yeah, just checking in, man. Just hope you're doing all right. You all right, mate?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good, mate." And he puts the phone down. But he took the phone call outside because he thought it was more important. Turns back around to head back in to the name that I won't say because my mouth doesn't seem to be working. But as he goes to walk back in, he notices what he didn't notice on his way in, a little blackboard. And as pubs prone to, by the way, a plumber's just come. And so you might be able to hear in the background. This podcast has had it all, really, hasn't it? Fires, plumbers, it's all kicking off.
I'm just waiting for the really long piss to appear in the background.
Yeah. It's been going on from the start if you listen very carefully. It's just in the corner. So sorry if you can hear that. But yeah, so as pubs tend to do, they have little messages on their blackboards, little something for them. So, what is the message on yours? And is Patrick a fan? That's the big question.
So my housemate always tells me I have what the kids call boomer humour, in that I am secretly a middle-aged woman. So I wrote my thing and I thought this is so funny, and then I read it back this morning and I was like, this is not funny at all. But what my blackboard would say, because stick to your guns, is it counts as productive if you draw while you drink.
Exactly, because then you're still doing things. I'm so sorry, I don't know what's going on. Yes, that's a fantastic little. Why'd you go for that? What brought it on?
Well, you've got to draw people into the pub, but I still really want to play on my unique selling point, my USP.
Yes.
So you've got to get that in, but it's got to be funny. Otherwise, I mean, it's not really funny. It's very. I'm sure the middle-aged women would find it funny.
Oh, they love it.
It's got to have something about it,
Yeah, and to be fair, the middle-aged woman demographic is the big one. That's the one you want to capture. And I'm not gonna lie, Patrick looked at it and he went, he did exactly that, and so he's a big fan. He doesn't guffaw, but he was a cheeky little fan of that. So he comes back into the pub, and he sits back down and he goes, "Oi, Phoebe, over here." He's a Cockney now, and you walk over and you're like, "This seems to be going well. I think I've done all right." And he sits you down and he goes, "What I'm about to say is not a compliment. Phoebe Cooke, you're just too bloody perfect. Your pub's too good to be true." And I say it's not a compliment because how am I supposed to entrust you, apart from the fact that I'm your dad, so I know you very well, with a pub and with my finances, if at the end of the day you're lying? Because no one's this perfect, Phoebe. No one is this great, austere, personality who's always getting along with people, always being their best self. So what I need you to do is I need you to destroy your character. I need you to completely eradicate every good thought we had of you by telling us your most embarrassing pub story that you are comfortable having online.
So, I was thinking a lot about this, and I feel like I wouldn't say this to my dad. Be in the pub, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that embarrassing, but I was at the Pear, best pub, because I was having a one-on-one. I was on a cheeky date.
Oh, fantastic!
This was a while ago. I thought, gonna put myself out there. I go on a date with this gentleman who is nice. And obviously at the Pear, the bar staff, everybody knows the bar staff at the Pear. They're really lovely. And I'm drinking my wine, of course, because I'm me. Yeah. And I'm really enjoying this date. And I'm like, okay, okay, cool. It's gonna be okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, have a moment to myself to contemplate, to text my girls and tell them what's going on. And I stand up and laugh because I am a rather large-chested person. I knock the wine glass over with my breast.
No.
And, the bar staff laugh at me, and my date laughs at me, and nobody wants to point out the fact that my boob hit the wine glass, so we're all awkwardly like, what happened there? And I go to the bathroom when I come back, and it's understandably awkward, and then we carry on with the date. Didn't work out with that guy, so I go on a date the week after with another lovely person, and the same thing happens again.
No.
And the bar staff were like, you silly goose, and it was really embarrassing.
How? Not once, but twice.
Yeah.
On two. How did the other day end up?
That was, again, average. I thought, not for me. Maybe it's because of the wine glass incidents. Maybe that was where I was going wrong.
Exactly. I think, to be fair, on a first date, if you can, refrain from knocking a glass over with your breast, I think that's usually a better way to kick off things.
Exactly. My current boyfriend, he's never seen me knock over a wine glass with my boob.
Exactly.
And well, that's great.
So yeah, I think you've worked it out. I think that's the winning formula. Were they sat opposite you? So did you just smack wine all over them?
Oh no, there was no wine on the other people on the dates. It was just all over the table and the floor.
Oh, that's fine then.
Yeah, the bar staff were not pleased. But bless them.
Where were you? Were you on the tables next to the bar? There's a couple of... So you were right by the door and everything. Did everyone see?
Yes. I feel like, no, by this point on both the dates, it was quite late. It was like 11:30 just before they closed. There weren't that many people, but it did make it more noticeable for those who were there.
Exactly, because that way, everyone noticed. Every single person. To be fair, though, having worked on a bar myself, as have you, that would really make my day. Seeing something like that would really cheer me up.
Watching people ruin a date.
Yeah, exactly. And then watching her come back and do the exact same thing again.
Yeah.
Because when they saw you walk in the second time, not only did you walk in with a different date, so they knew that it hadn't quite worked out. And then the same thing happened with that person. And I'm sure they didn't see you with that person again, which is...
I did not.
A huge achievement, I'd say. That is pretty impressive. I mean, even the laws of averages, I don't think allow for that. So congratulations, Phoebe. I think Patrick bloody loves that story. I bloody love that story, and I'm Patrick's boss.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't think Patrick would have loved that story.
Possibly not. But hey ho, this is all fiction, of course. Of course, I'm not actually Patrick. I know I do a very good impression.
You're not my dad. What? I love my Cockney father.
You're not my dad. What? Yeah, sorry. Sorry to shock you with that after 22 years. I'm afraid I am.
I'm 22, Alex.
Are you 22?
No, I'm 20.
You're 20?
Yeah.
I'm 20. That is crazy. I did not realise that. But hey, 22 years, because he kind of knew you before.
I do not like what's being insinuated there, Mr. Ravenhall.
And so we will move swiftly on. That is a fantastic, embarrassing story. That's a great one. It's the double tap that really sells it to me. It's like, I like this bit because I feel like I'm Graham Norton on the red chair. I mean, I've got way less power and I'm incredibly less charismatic, but you can walk if that was if that's how it's judged. So you go away. And the night continues another hour or so. It's getting to closing now. You're near the end of the night. All the regulars have left. Only Patrick remains. And he calls you back over. And so basically, this is it. The interview, the trial period is done. He's going to give you a verdict. Unless I've forgotten any questions, which I don't think I have. He walks up to you and he sits opposite him and he goes, Phoebe, barwoman, daughter, congratulations, you have an investment. We're going to invest in your pub. You have been successful. Now, not only have you been very successful, but I've been on the phone with big Alex Ravenhall, and he said that he's so excited about this pub that I should give you the bonus. Ooh, what's the bonus? Now, the bonus is Patrick is going to let you use his time machine and also his huge influence in the world, because he's a very influential person, and he can in fact get you anyone from anywhere, from any time. And he's going to let you have a drink with 5 people. Now, these people can be dead or alive, friend or foe, celebrity or not. They can be anyone you could ever dream of. I want to know, Phoebe, who you've picked and why. So, Patrick walks out the door, and immediately your 5 people walk in. Who have you got?
So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go for a bit of a variety on this one. Really, really use what I can. So number 1, of course, has to be Jude Law.
Oh yes, that's everyone's first choice.
Who doesn't want to meet Jude Law? You know, he's
Yeah.
icon, gorgeous man. Secondly, I thought, okay, got the sex appeal. Got to go for somebody who's a bit more, you know, wise. So I thought, who's the wisest person I can think of? Dolly Parton, of course.
Oh yeah, I mean she
So-
worked at 9 to 5, and
Yeah.
she did the pub shifts. You know, she did what she needed to do.
It's true. So she would know. She would be able to appreciate my pub at the same time.
Yes, I agree. Also, as a creative, both creative, so I think they'd enjoy the creative workshopy element of it as well.
That's true. Then number 3, I was like, okay, I've got the brawn, I've got the brains. What do I need now? Of course, my third person is Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Um,
Why Winnie the Pooh? Why? Is it his love of honey?
I would love to get a pint with Winnie the Pooh. You know, I'm sure he has great conversation, and he would make me feel great about myself.
Yeah.
And that's it, really. I just feel like he'd be a great best friend to have.
He would. He'd be proper supportive, but also I bet he can sink him. I'd love to see him proper pissed as well. I bet he turned into a bit of a wanker. I'm not gonna lie. He'd give you a bad drunk, Albany. But you know, you've got to see it at least. Option number 4.
Number 4, I was like, okay, so brawn, Winnie the Pooh. Of course, now we need comedy and comedy icon, Julie Walters.
Oh, fantastic choice. Fantastic choice. No one's had Julie Walters yet. Although, to be fair, no one's had Winnie the Pooh either, so... Why Julie Walters?
So I thought, okay, she's funny, so she'd make the evening a bit more lively, and she would know all the words to the Mamma Mia soundtrack, which is also something I need in my life.
Yeah.
And she reminds me a bit of my mum, so I feel like, that would just be nice. I feel like we'd get on. She can adopt me and give me money, maybe.
I mean, yeah, that's what everyone wants, really. To go to drink with Julie Walters and get adopted, and then just get a little bit of money every now and then, just to tide you over.
Yeah. Of course, I would win her over with my dazzling smile and great pints, so we would become best friends.
And option numero 5.
So I was like, okay, I need to go for a nice one for this one. So I was like, okay, I've got 4 of the best people in the world here, so I need to bring my sister so that she can appreciate them too.
Oh, fantastic choice. And also, yeah, it's nice because you've always got that shared memory, haven't you?
Yeah, of the time we drank with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you what, it's as good as you imagined it. You have a fantastic night. Everyone gets along really well. Winnie the Pooh gets absolutely twatted. It's really, really funny to watch. He starts like dancing on the table and stuff. I was say naked, but isn't he already naked apart from his little shirt?
He's got his little shirt and that's it.
Yeah, well, he's always, you know, in the breeze. But everyone has a really sick night and everyone gets drunk and basically they're just lashing praise on you all evening. You don't pay for a drink all night because, you know, this is your achievement. You've smashed it. Yeah, that's also very true. It is your own pub. You know, you've got a lovely arts and craft theme. You did a superb signature cocktail. That was a big choice. Lovely, embarrassing story. That was a real clincher, I think. And, you know, you regale them with loads more stories, you know, ones that are less privy to a podcast. And it gets to the end of the night, and you go, right, that's enough. You've all been so lovely all night. I'm getting you around. And you get to the bar, and you've completely forgotten to ask them for their drinks. So your final question, what I'd like from you, Phoebe, is what drink you think each of them would drink, and then finish with your go-to drink, the drink that you would drink if you were going to the pub. So 6 drinks.
Since we're drinking in my pub, of course, I would pick from my drinks list.
Yes.
For each of them. So Jude Law, feel like he's a cider kind of man. He would want the raspberry pink cider.
Mm-hmm.
Dolly Parton, she's an icon. She'll be there on the beer.
100%.
I would get her one of each colour because she deserves the world.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh. Oh, what would Winnie the Pooh want? I'm feeling Winnie the Pooh's an apple sours kind of guy.
Yeah. But he drinks pints of it. Like.
Yeah, he loves the sweetness.
Yeah, he loves the sweet. It's like honey to him, and he just gets absolutely
He
trolleyed.
just being like, bring me the bottle. You know?
Yeah. Good old Winnie. And Julie Walters?
Julie Walters, white wine kind of lady. And my sister, she notoriously will drink anything. Absolute slag.
And finally, Phoebe Cooke, what will you have to drink?
I'm feeling me and Julie were on the same wavelength. We're both going to go for a white wine.
Phoebe Cooke, you've done it. Not only have you pitched a fantastic pub, you have been able to have a drink with some amazing, eclectic people. Thank you so bloody much for coming on. It's been so much fun.
Thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed telling you about my pub idea.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly say a couple of thank yous, if you don't mind, before the fire alarm goes off again or something. So like an earthquake, something's bound to happen. So first thank you go to Sam Nason for the graphics. He's been doing a little bit of, graphics. And the next up goes to Jack Petham for the jingle. Thank you very much, Jack.
Icon.
Absolute icon. Number 3 goes to all of our listeners, Phoebe Cooke. There's at least 3 of them out there. They're gonna. I'll at least listen to it 3 times. I'll listen to them all.
I might even send a link to my dad.
Yeah, I bet he'd love it. And if I get a seething comment, I'll be sure to blame you. And the final thank you is a trick question because it's back at you, Phoebe Cooke. Thank you again. It's been an absolute joy. And hopefully when lockdown's all down, we can all meet up again in Birmingham for a pub drink. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Yes, thank you all again for listening to this to today's episode of the Build a Pub podcast. Thank you.